What's up, guys? Bass Boys here. This is Jake. Today we're going to be making bass worms with the doit mold. See, Denver, Iowa, USA. That's where they're made. And this is the Yamamoto Senko 5-inch. Now, I made a video a long time ago that I reposted about 6 years ago. But I wanted to make a new one, get more in depth on how you can take your worms that are ruined or ripped and make them good again. So, stay tuned.
Bass Boys Fishing.
So here's another look at the worms and what the inside looks like. I forgot if I'd mentioned, but this is the Yamamoto Senko 5-inch. You can get these on Amazon and just search it up and I can find them. I think they're about $60, I think, for this one mold. Things that you'll need with it: you'll need the mold, obviously, and then you'll definitely need a pair of gloves because it gets pretty hot when you're melting the plastic. That's if you use old worms, which is usually what I do. I mean, either way, it's going to be hot, but I just use a standard measuring cup like this, and I've already been making some, so there's some in there already. This. Not sure if the doit mold comes with one of these. You'll obviously need one of these to inject the rubber into the mold, and top right here. Sorry about the furnace noise. It's on right now, but hopefully you can hear me. Okay, that's that. So yeah, this is the 4 things you'll need. And then I also have a 6-inch, can't even talk, the 6-inch one for the Yamamoto worm. Same thing as that one, just that one's 5-inch. I use 5-inch most of the time. Sometimes I'll use 6-inch. It's a little bit thicker, heavier. So we'll get into the process here. So obviously you'll need some sort of something to melt your worms in, or melt your rubber in or whatever, so I just use a regular microwave. This is a Black & Decker. This is the one I use. Phone's on a tripod right now and it kind of sucks because it's a chintzy, crappy tripod, so sorry about the noise. So what you do is you would put your worms in there, and then it'd help if I plugged in the microwave. Do that real quick. Alright, so close it, and you can really put the time to anything. I'll just put 2 minutes on it, and then you wait for that. Mention you'll need a butter knife or something to stir the worms with. Alright, so I had it in there probably for about a minute. So one thing for sure when you're doing this is you want to check your worms. Don't leave them in the microwave too long, because then you'll end up, what'll happen is there'll be like brown spots, and that means that the rubber actually burned. It's not too bad if you accidentally do it a little bit, but you don't want to like let it sit in there, and then you have these big brown burn spots, and the smell's pretty horrible. but it smells horrible either way. So, I don't know if you could see. Obviously, we're not good yet, but we're getting there. I don't have to wear gloves yet. The jar isn't hot yet, but it'll get hot. So I'm just gonna put it in there for about another minute, and I'll probably still need to put it in longer. Probably should be using my GoPro to film this. It'd be a lot easier having a camera and a tripod and trying to, you know, put the rubber into the mold. It's going to be pretty difficult, but we'll get it done. So now it was in there for about another minute. Still too many chunks in there, so we're going to have to put it in longer. My microwave might be pretty weak. That's the reason why I gotta do this a lot. But we'll put it in there for another 40 seconds or so. Now they do have colors that you can, like dyes and stuff that you can put in the worms. I have a whole bucket there. It's the doit mold dyes. You got all different colors, pearls, the flakes to put in the worms. But most of the time, when I rip a worm, when I'm fishing, I'll have a bag, and then I'll put them all in there. And sometimes I just mix them all into the jar, melt them. I don't really care about color sometimes, so I'll just do it like that. But then other times, I'll put the color in there. Like for this one, this is a bunch of old ripped worms over the years, and I just put some black dye in there. And you could put different colors, but sometimes, you know, when you have all those like worms that are all different colors, it's kind of a waste of time to put dye in because it's gonna be a weird color. So I just usually put black, and that usually makes it, usually just makes it black. But if you're making it from scratch with the rubber, which I have up there, it's in that white box up there, the doit rubber or whatever they call it, but that's like a clear plastic, so you can do whatever color you want. But for the most part, most of the time, I'm just using old worms that I've had laying in my bag. It just makes the most sense. Alright, so we'll put it in there for another 30 seconds. You want it to be smoking a little bit. You don't want it to be getting chunky or anything when you're putting it in the mold. So we'll do that. Another 30 seconds, and then we'll get on to the process. Of course, there's another item that I forgot to mention, but we'll get into it now. You'll need some sort of vice grip, or a quick grip, I mean, not a vice grip, but something like this. So I'm going to bring the camera over here. Let me show you. Here, I'll just bring it over. So you just kind of set your cast up like that, and then you just kind of put it in so it's not in your way when you're putting the rubber in. So just like that. Should hold it pretty good. So this is the time you're probably going to want to put your gloves on. It's probably pretty hot. Put those on right now. I won't be able to press the button on my phone now, so I'll have to take it off. Press the button. Alright. So now, I'm going to take it out of here. Alright, it's looking really good now. It's nice and smooth. No chunks. Chunk you're seeing is on my knife. That's alright. Oh. Take your tube. Take the top off. Pull this back all the way. And then you want to pour it. You want to make sure that you don't fill it all the way to the top. Fill it almost to the top. maybe about an inch away from the top. Just like this. Can't really show you. So I'll pour it all over the floor or on my foot, and that would burn pretty good. So when you push that on, you take your tube, try to do it quick. Try to push, don't push too fast, or else it'll create air bubbles in your worms and basically junk at that point. And then when I'm putting it in there, just like that, I'll keep adding a little bit of rubber to make sure that no air holes get into the worms. I mean, you could do it for, you could sit here and just dab it for a little while. Most of the time, they won't get air holes, but once in a while, you'll get one that's got an air hole in it, but it's really no big deal. So, yeah, so that's probably about all I need to add. And then, just take my glass here, and then just, it's hard to do with this camera, but then you just take whatever you got left and just put it back in the glass jar. Try to get out as much as if you can before it hardens, and then this will push up. I'm just gonna take it off and leave that. And it'll be like a chunk in the end. You just put that right in there. So then you wait probably about 2 minutes. The first time you do this, and one of these dies like this, I think that's made out of aluminum, so it's not too hot. But if you plan on making a lot of worms, this thing will start getting really hot, and you'll have to wear a glove to keep making them. But first time doing it, it's not too bad. You can do it with your hands. I'll see you when that's done. The thing to add is to make sure try not to touch that tip to that thing after you do this for a while, because that thing gets boiling hot. You'll have to wait for it to cool down. But you can take the rubber and you can get it out of there after a little while. Just put that back in your rubber jar. So I mean, it's been about a couple minutes for the mold, so I guess we'll open them up and I'll show you what we got here. Alright, it's kind of hard to open this with one hand in the camera, so I'll just put it here. Try to get the shot. You know what? Let me just set up the camera better. Just open it. Alright, there we go. Looks like we did pretty good with the hole here. There's no big hole in there. Let me open them. You'll be left with, looks like it was a success. The worms don't look like they have any air holes in it. I mean, these are just kind of black, and I have some like gold, silver in them. Can't really see them. You can kind of see it. And then what I do is, if you're making a whole bunch of these in a day, I'll have like a bucket of cold water, and I'll just throw these in there. After you take them off, you just you can rip them right off the top, just like this. Take your other piece, just put that back in the jar to be melted again. You'll be left with this. Put them in the cold water. You can if you want to. You don't have to put them in the cold water. You just throw them on the side. Just kind of put them there. And then what I do is, when I make these, I'll buy some of that like gulp juice or some sort of like liquid flavoring for, you know, whatever you fish for, or whatever you want, and I'll put it in a bag so that'll get them to be shinier, and soak them in something so that they smell good. But other than that, that's pretty much it. That's how you make Gary Yamamoto Senkos with the 5-inch doit mold. It's pretty simple. Anybody can do it. One thing, it'll save you a lot of money from buying worms at the store, Gary Yamamoto's, any kind of plastics, yums. And they sell these molds in a lot of different creatures, different kinds of things. And yeah, it'll definitely save you a lot of money from going to the store. Now, do they work? Yeah, they work really good. Most people would think, you know, you make these and you're gonna ask, do the bass eat them? Yeah, they do. I've used these for many years, and I've ruined a lot of worms. I've mixed different company worms, yums, Gary Yamamoto's, zooms, anything. You can mix them all together, melt them, you'll never have a problem, and works great. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you liked it, and see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Bass Boys, we fish for a living.